We got a box. We got a box. We got a box. And what's inside that box? Let's find out. So everyone, welcome to this YouTube thing that I'm doing. I'm pretty new to this. I did record like an entire thing before and realized my mic cable wasn't plugged in all the way on this camera. So this is actually a second take of what I did before. So I'm very YouTube amateur. I expect a lot of patience while I figure all this out, but guys, welcome. If you guys don't know me, my name is Blaine. I post a lot of reels and short form content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, just covering a bunch of different songs. So to be here on YouTube and kind of jumping onto this next platform, I'm super excited to be here. I'm trying to get used to all this sort of stuff. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna go and we're gonna see how this goes. Anyways, on to the subject of this video. If you didn't hear earlier in the video, I got a box. What's inside that box, you may be asking? Well, this has been a package I've been expecting for a while now. I had somebody from Meinl Percussion reach out, Henez, lovely man. Thank you so much for reaching out, asking me if I was interested in trying out some Meinl Percussion stuff. And of course, as a big fan of Meinl I'm like, hell yeah. I want to try some of this stuff. Now, my realm in percussion is super limited. Now, of course, I was a percussionist in high school. I did it all throughout education, but it didn't mean I was great at a lot of these percussive instruments. This is why I played drum set most of the time. So a lot of these instruments I've played, I have seen, but I've never touched them since high school. And I've been out of high school for a while now. So this is gonna be super exciting. And I'm gonna demo all these for you guys. So if you like everything you see here or anything you see here, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm sure this video is gonna take a while to make, but I'm super excited to do this. And I also wanna give a huge shout out to Rode microphones because they actually sent me a couple microphones about a month or two back, and I haven't actually used them. They were specifically for this channel. It just took me a while to really work myself up and come out of my shell a bit to start using them. So thank you so much, Rode. I really appreciate you. Without further ado, let's get into the video and let's see what our first item is. So the first item I want to talk to you about is this wonderful hi-hat tambourine from Meinl. This is such a cool piece of equipment. Now, I've used one of these before. It's been a long time, but essentially what you do is you clamp this right to your hi-hat. When you press down the pedal, it will actually make a jingle sound. So it's kind of like playing a tambourine without having a tambourine, which is really sweet. These are all brass around the sides here. I find with these, like hammered brass sounds super balanced no matter where you put it. They also have a single layer brass one, but I went with the double layer just because I felt like, man, you're getting jingles, you might as well get more jingles. Get double layer. Who cares? You know what I mean? This is a fantastic piece to the kit. I don't know if this will be permanently on my kit or not, but I do play in some country bands and some folk bands every once in a while, and I think this would be an awesome texture to add to my set. And this is what the hi-hat tambourine sounds like. So the next instrument I have on my list here is the Hammered Series 8-inch Timbale cowbell. This cowbell is so insane. I love this so much. It's in the gold color. This is a huge cowbell. Like, look at this thing. This thing's huge to me. What I love about hammered products is a lot of the time they have a shorter sustain to them. Editing Blaine here. So I may not be 100% correct on that fact. I recorded this at 12 o'clock in the morning, so some of my information is a little bit skewed. I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head on a lot of this stuff, so I'm just uneducated. It is what it is. So I found out with hammered products, essentially it's a unique technique in order to kind of shape the sound of the instrument that you're working on. This happens in cymbals, this happens in cowbells, percussion instruments, like you name it. Basically, the hammer process just gives it more overtones and whatnot. That seems to be what I could find on it. In the demo, I did feel like this was a shorter sustain of a cowbell because a lot of the time I feel like they're super ringy. Sometimes they have a longer sustain. It depends on how the product is made. So don't take my word for it in the video. I'm gonna correct myself on this statement. So I just need to get educated on a lot of this stuff. So back to the video. This doesn't ring very much. You do get some dampening pads you can put on the inside of the cowbell to even dampen it more. But honestly, I found how it is out of the box is perfect. So it gives you a lot of options to work with. It sounds absolutely incredible. I don't really have a clamp to put this on yet. So in my demo, you can see I just have it sitting on my snare drum and I'm just kind of like trying to play something very sloppily, but I think it really gets the point across. The person who kind of inspired me to get a cowbell like this is L.S. Tiberio. Dude is absolutely insane. I highly recommend checking out his content. The dude's just superhuman, and trust me, every single time I post a cover or a reel, I'm just constantly compared to this guy and how he can do that one-handed, and it shatters my self-confidence completely. This is the Hammered Series cowbell. Here's the clip. So the next thing on my list, are you a percussionist if you don't have a solid shaker? So this is the next thing on my list. This is the Conte. I think that's how you say it. This is the seafoam green shaker from Meinl Percussion. This is probably the smoothest sounding shaker I have ever played. Now, I've played a lot of shakers from high school. We used to have like this really beat up egg one and it sounded really good, but this guy is just the smoothest shaker I've ever played. And I'm not sure what's in it. It's probably sand, but I don't know where they're digging up this sand because it's the smoothest sand I've ever like heard in my life. But I know I'm hyping up a shaker at the end of the day, but this thing sounds fantastic. And if you don't have a solid shaker in your arsenal, you're definitely missing out. Highly recommend to grab one of these. Anyways, here's what the shaker sounds like. So you probably already see these beside me, but the next thing I want to talk about are the ABS molded bongos here from Meinl Percussion, and they are so awesome. These are brand new to the lineup. Now, what makes these a little bit more unique is that they're not wood, they are plastic. From my experience, sometimes with plastic instruments, sometimes they can sound a little wonky because they don't resonate as well. But I don't know what Meinl has done here to make this such a balanced sounding drum, but it sounds absolutely incredible. They still have the buffalo skins on the top, very balanced. Just overall, that's all I can say with them. Now, of course, you can play these with sticks, you can play them with your hands. I'll do demos of both of those so you can hear them either way. But yeah, highly recommend these bongos. So of course, you can get them in like red, you can get them in yellow. So there's a lot of different varieties. I highly recommend checking them out on Meinl Percussion's website. But without further ado, here's what these bongos sound like. So without further ado, and I'm super sad because we're at the bottom of the package, but we got one more drum to show you guys. And this one was a surprise because I did not request this. Actually, Hanez reached out, he's like, yo, this would be a cool one for you to try out. And I was like a little bit like, oh, okay. But I wanted to give it a try and hopefully impress him. So this here is the 10-inch snare timbale. This is such a unique instrument. I've never actually played timbales before. We didn't have timbales in my high school. We had like rototoms and stuff, and that's probably the closest thing I can relate timbales to. Honestly, I think they're just kind of a glorified tom. in a lot of ways. This is such a cool instrument because as far as I know with timbales, you never really have the option to put on a snare as far as I know. So the fact this has a built-in option for you to use as kind of like a side snare and then go over to a timbale is such a unique approach. So I got this in the black, super cool. And it's really nice because you can actually tune the head to where you want it to as well. With it being a 10-inch, of course, this is going to be kind of a deeper tone. They do also offer an 8-inch. So if you want that smaller one, that is available to you as well. But super unique instrument, and this is what the 10-inch timbale sounds like. And okay, that is it for today's video. I really wanted my first video on here to be just something more than just a sit down and intro. I already had like another video planned of just like, talking about why I'm starting YouTube and all that stuff, but I just didn't feel like that fit very well. And I wanted to start this channel off with just something to look forward to. I know from here on out, it's probably gonna be a grind to make sure all of this stuff is kept up to date, but I just really wanted to start this channel off on a big note and something exciting. This is just super cool. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Meinl Percussion, to make some content for you guys. I am so pumped to get all these instruments on my kit and just start making a load of music with them. If you guys like this video, please make sure you hit like, subscribe. And if you guys like these kinds of videos, please let me know, as I do want to continue making these for you guys. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.